I think we're here. I'm here. You're there.
I am here.
This is like awesome.
This is, this internet thing is amazing.
I think
And
it might catch on.
we have Al Gore to thank.
Al Gore. I'm so happy. I'm
Me too.
glad. Without Al Gore, you and I would probably be doing something really constructive tonight.
Absolutely.
Like
Like making money or
fixing something that our wives have said, that over there is still broken.
well, actually, my wife is delighted because she just found the Lifetime Movie Club on the Apple TV. He's like, "Ooh, this!" So,
So
I gotta tell you, I actually like Lifetime movies and DJs. Before y'all laugh, go look up the client list with Jennifer Love Hewitt.
I've heard of that. Now that name has popped up before, not the Jennifer Love Hewitt, but the client list.
Something way, way up, if you know what I. Anyways,
Ah,
it's about schools, right?
exactly. We're talking schools tonight, and we'll be talking cat toys as Arnoldo's cat in the background is having a great time. Oh, that's fun. But yeah, we're going to talk tonight, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit about prom, as the prom seasons are just about ready to get kicked off around the country. We've got people getting their final preparations and such up here in our world. And Arnoldo, when do you guys kick off with your prom season?
This week.
This is it? Wow.
This week. There's actually a couple of breaks in between because of testing. Testing really screwed us this year because they changed the schedule all around, and I guess people don't think when they move schedules around, and they stuck these poor advisors with terrible dates for for prom. They don't have a lot of choices, but it's going to be a good season for us. We're excited. We've done a lot of things different this year. We've dumped a what's the financial term? A shitload of money into marketing, and it's really paid off for us this year.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, that's something that one of the frustrations I have with some of the schools is that because of that advisor changing over every year, maybe every 2 years, depending upon your school, as you say, you're always investing in the money into having to market to these schools. Even though I've been there, I still have to keep coming back and knocking on the door and saying, "Hey, I've done proms before." "Oh, really? Wow. Have you ever worked with our school?" "Yes, for the last 5 years in a row."
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. So today I met with one of the schools that I used to do them years ago. Then they went elsewhere, and then it's been the downhill spiral. And
Mm-hmm.
the advisor that I met with, he actually said, he goes, he admitted, he goes, "Yeah, it's been a downward spiral." He doesn't remember when they used us because he wasn't doing that at that point. But I told him, like, we have this thing called loyalty program. As long as you keep using us, if you're looking at that same package, you're going to pay the same rate. As a matter of fact, if you guys had never stopped using us, you'd be spending $1,500 less. He's like, "Are you kidding?" I'm like, "Yeah, our prices go up, but they don't go up for our current clients." And then a lot of DJs are like, "What if business costs go up?" In reality, business costs haven't gone up that dramatically much in the last 5 years. And granted, that's really depending on the market, but Florida's pretty violent as far as, how things change, insurances and everything else. But while our costs have gone up, they haven't gone that terribly up. So I try not to raise the prices on my clients that have been with us for a while. Because again, it's good karma both ways around. Now if we do get to the point like, look, I can't offer this package to you anymore. It's, this is our minimum now. It's still going to be a better value than what they paid before. And that's worked out really well, at least with give them an incentive to keep using the advisors or, keep using with different advisors. What we get though is the political side of it, where the new advisor doesn't like the old advisor. So they try to do everything completely different. And that's really been a tough one for us. But, I tell them every time, and I joke, I say it in a joking manner, but I'm dead serious. He'll be back.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure. Especially when you look at the variety of DJs out there that are I'm doing school dances and yet have very little clue. It's surprising me how to engage teenagers.
I actually have a rant episode that we're going to do because that's going to be like an hour-long rant.
Rant. Can you? What is this rant word you use?
Well, okay. So I have a DJ that I'm doing some consulting with right now, and he showed me his business plan. It's solid. He showed me pricing and packages. They're solid. He showed me, the gear that he's using. It's more than solid. He goes, "Why can't I make money?" And then I heard his mixing. I'm like, "Because you suck." Like, bro, this is horrible. Like, first of all, you don't have a mix cloud. And maybe it's a better thing that you don't have a mix cloud. But you got to look the part. You got to act the part. Most importantly, you got to sound the part. If you're mixing sounds like a trash can hitting I don't know. Give me something terrible. Nickelback. And
Nickelback playing on trash cans while drunk
yeah,
and
so
falling downhill.
yeah, so it's pretty much yeah. If your mixes sound terrible like that, no one's gonna hire you. Just straight up with that. And kids are starting. I hate saying kids. Teenagers are starting to call out DJs that don't mix. If you go on Twitter and you just search DJ didn't mix, you're gonna see a lot of people saying, "I went to this club. I went to even prom. DJ didn't mix." But they know that, so that's a selling point. Can you believe it, John?
Oh, I'm sure
Actually, being a DJ is a selling point now. Like,
it surely would be, and that's something that is foreign for a lot of guys out there because they're like, oh, isn't mixing where I fade this one out and I bring this one up?
no, this isn't mega seg. Well, I can say that now that you have your new den on.
Yeah, exactly.
Watch that episode.
I have been spending more time practicing on that to get those little nuances down, and I've listened to more new music.
It feels good, doesn't it?
It is a cool thing. I mean, one of the things I've felt is, and again, I was doing pretty much weddings for a long period of time. With Megaseg, it was okay to do that,
Yeah.
and it worked okay. But you get after a while, you kind of get bored. You line up the music, and I've already set the segues. I know exactly when they're going to segue, and I can shuffle the songs around, but I still know the song and I know where it's going to segue. Well, then I got to find something else to occupy my time because and then you're like, yeah, this is. You don't find that when you're actively.
The one thing I love about Segway, and even Odds had it, were the directives. And I really wish Virtual DJ would do that. Remember where you could tell it, when you hit the next button, it would stop the song and queue up the next one instead of automatically going to the next song.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish Virtual DJ had that, because when you have a remote, that was the coolest thing about Segway. Because I remember Mega Seg. When I used Segway, when I used Mega Seg, that was back when I used my Wiimote to control my music and all that. So when I was emceeing, I had my Wiimote and I can control it, and it was really cool. And I really wish Virtual DJ would do that. Now I have a different method, but it was just much easier that way.
Yeah, that is one of the few things. There's a couple of things with Mega Seg I miss. One of them is that. The second one is to be able to put a hard break in a playlist. So as it's auto running, and if I want to make sure that, okay, I can see on Mega Seg that the end of the song will be at 6 or 5:59 and 57 seconds. I can put a hard end there, and then it'll play. I can be over by the head table, and the music will fade out. And at 6 o'clock, and ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the head table, and we're going to be doing fun thing, whatever. You can't do that on Virtual DJ. So, okay, but wait, I digress.
Yes.
We're getting off topic. So we're going to talk proms tonight.
Yes.
And the mixing side of it is definitely something I think, as you mentioned, the kids are getting into. What's your take? Are kids into the big light shows? Like, it seemed like for a while they were into the video was a cool thing. Going back farther, big light shows were cool. Then it was the big video and creating that. Now, have we made the transition back to a big light show and big video, or what are you seeing from the kids? What's the big hook?
It's really both, and the sales strategy should be sales strategy. I need more of this. Hold on.
Yeah, that'll Arnoldo on high end Mountain Dew. That's a sign it's going to be a good show.
The sales strategy should be based on what the feedback you get from the students, right? So if I go and I meet with the students and they say, "Oh, the DJ was great. We really like the mixing." Okay, there's always a but. If there wasn't a but, you wouldn't be there. If they were really happy with their vendor, they wouldn't be looking elsewhere. So you got to find out what that but is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was great, and we loved him, and he MC. But, and a lot of times I've had schools where I really can't get them to tell me what the bad thing is. So I'm just outright and I say, but, and they're like, "What do you mean, but?" I'm like, "I'm here for a reason. If you guys liked him and he's as great as you guys say he is, you'd be silly not to book him again. You guys would be downright stupid. So what's the one thing that he did wrong?" Well, we're looking for an all-in-one production company. Bingo, there it is. So we push a lot of that. We push a lot of having, depending what they need for the theme. Okay, well, you need pipe and drape. Look, we don't subcontract pipe and drape. I don't subcontract lighting. I explained to them what subcontracting is, why I think it's a scam for most users. The DJs do. Sorry, but that's just how I feel. So I push on that. And then we talk about how having a DJ and a lighting company that's all part of the same company gives you a better show. And I show them some of that, a lot of video clips, not just photos, but videos that actually show how the lighting goes together with the music. And it really depends with the school. I mean, ultimately, whether it's a school or even wedding, I tell them, look, you guys could have the most beautiful light show in the world. You can be the greatest venue ever. If you pay bucks, just threw all that money away. So ultimately, it comes down to the DJ. When you're choosing your package and everything that you want, you're not paying for the DJ. The DJ comes with the package, and that's why we charge this minimum, because this is how much we need for our DJs. Everything else is the lighting, the video screens, all that. So if you only spend $2,500 or $25,000, you're still going to get the same quality of show from a musical sense. It's not like I'm going to send you with a crappy DJ because you spent less money than this other school. And I really drive that point home, because especially if you go on, even with weddings, if you go like on Wedding Wire or the Knot, you read about DJs who double book and then send some horrible DJ to cover their event, and he was terrible and couldn't mix. And then they say, well, you get what you pay for. Well, yes, and with us you do, but not in the sense of the actual performance. And it literally comes up to setting up the turntable, mixing right then and there. Like, look, this is what my guys can do. And we're the only company that's really doing that. So, of course, they're going to go for it. And I know that my guys, look, I know it sounds cocky, but I know my guys can mix better than anybody else in my area. I know that for a fact. Because if there was anybody else that could mix and does school dances better than my guys, I would have hired them a long time ago or bought them out, which has happened a couple of times, excuse me. So, I mean, I can say with full confidence, like, look, my guys can mix like nobody else can. We don't pre-mix stuff. A lot of my guys make their own remixes. Some of my guys have opened up for major artists or major festivals. Like, we're the real deal. We're the real deal when it comes to DJs. We are the DJ that DJs want to have. And really pushing that. And again, not just even just schools. I know we're talking about schools, but I also push that for weddings and corporate events. Ultimately, they called us because they want to have a good time. They want to dance. They want a real DJ. And while emceeing and being a good host, while that's all important, nobody's ever going to say, man, I'll tell you what, I went to prom. The DJ was whack. He didn't play any good music. He didn't mix, but boy, he sounded so good on the microphone, and he delivered the proper applause lines. And no disrespect to Randy Bartlett or anybody else, but the clients really don't give a crap about that if you can't mix. That's why it's called the 1%, because that's 1% on top of good stuff. And that really applies for school dances. I had a DJ that I talked to that, he's like, well, I'm really working on games. Like, get the hell out of here with that. You go up to any school and you tell a bunch of seniors you're going to play games, you're going to get booed right out of that. Come on, dude. No. So maybe middle schools, but not traditional games. Like if you're going to do a dance contest or something like that, sure, but not for a high school.
Yep. That's definitely. As you're talking about creating that with the shows and such, these kids like an experience more than probably we did at our age. We would be accepting more of a whatever was thrown at us to a point. But the kids today are wanting that experience. Are you hearing that when you're meeting with these kids and talking prom with them? They want to create this wow moment.
It depends on the school, and it really depends on the overall expectations they had in the past. With this school, they admitted, look, we don't have a lot of money because, we had some extra expenses, whatever it is, but we know that we just want a really good experience. We know the DJ makes or breaks. If we can't afford lighting, that's fine, as long as we can afford a good DJ. So when they saw that, look, under your budget, yes, you can afford a DJ. Yes, you can afford a lighting. Let's cut out the fruit crap and really worry about what matters. And that's your dance floor lighting, some basic decor lighting, and DJ. You don't need anything else. You don't. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
And it was a slam dunk sale, but they were on the same boat that I was, or the same level of thinking as I was, that, look, it's really about the final experience that is delivered through the music. And our promo videos, everything really talks about that.
And I found the same thing with the proms I've got booked this year, is that we have, in the past, we've actually done bigger shows at these schools, but because of the numbers being down and such, their budgets have been cut, and they're cutting the frills. They want to basically, we want you, but let's cut down that light show and go to just basically a little bit of ambient light around the dance floor, and then the dance floor lighting. In the past, we've done uplighting throughout the whole room at the one school. The other particular school, they wanted to remove video. They're like, let's not do the big screens. We're going to go without. We're just going to go with lighting and the dance, because we would rather have the DJ type of thing like I've done at their homecoming, where we mixed and had a good time with it, over having this full cool video thing, which is neat too. But they're just really looking at where they can spend their money to get the bang for it, and the kids are wanting the music side of it more than the wow factor.
Well, it depends on the wow factor that you're delivering too. When you're talking about wow factor, when you're coming, especially when you're talking about lighting, they're no longer expecting just DJ lighting. I mean, look, no disrespect to anybody that's using basic spin and pukes, but if that's what you're bringing to a school dance, it's not going to work. John, I know that you're using DMX with the Airstream Bridge, so you know this better than everything else or than anybody else right now. Is like if you don't come in with some sort of control lighting, you're going to get sold out by somebody that does. I mean, being able to control the lighting, being able to tell a client, okay, so your colors are, you're doing this and this theme. We could do this and this with colors, the lights when people are coming in. We could do this and this with a king and queen. It's ultimately a theatrical production.
Yep.
A DJ with spin and puke lights is never going to be able to sell that. So if you both are great at mixing, but this guy doesn't have a theatrical background behind him, you're still higher than him ultimately. I mean, that's selling school dances, and y'all can quote me on this, is a dick measuring contest. Who's got the most gear? Who can handle their gear a lot better? And who can wiki while playing with the gear? I mean, it's a joke, but it's just the honest truth. And even the schools have said, it's like, look, we want to see who can bring the most lighting to our dance. Okay, awesome. That would be us. Mm-hmm. And I one school asked me, they're like, well, how can you say that confidently? Well, because I know my competition, because they come up to me asking me for advice. I know what they have. Like, they can't touch us. Now, not every DJ can confidently say that, but that's fine. But you still got to know what your competition is doing, because how are you going to sell against them? And I think it's the big difference between selling for weddings and selling for school dances, right? I'm not saying trash your competition. Don't. Bad idea altogether for obvious reasons. But if somebody says, well, what do you have that the competition doesn't? And if you say, well, I don't study my competition, so I don't know. Really? You guys don't think that Microsoft isn't just freaking Tom Brady Apple trying to figure out what the heck they're doing next? You better damn well know what your competition is doing. Otherwise, you're basically just saying, take somebody else's money because I have no idea. I'm freaking clueless. If you don't know your market, not just your client, but your competition, your business is going to fail. You got to know who your client, who your competition is, both friendly and unfriendly, because I don't care what anybody says. There's always somebody in your competition that doesn't like you and wants to see you crushed like a bug.
Oh, yeah, for sure. If you've been in business for over like 10 hours, there's someone out there.
So looking at your budget, your comments, I'm loving these comments saying the local high school budgets are less than this and that. I'm going to tell you right now, they're lying to you. Okay. I mean, I would know. I don't go to the national conferences and talk to schools from around the nation or anything. But let me tell you the real truth. They are telling you that because that is all they think you are worth. Now, I don't mean you specifically as the DJ, but the DJs that they've seen, if they're saying we only have $600, they're saying we haven't seen anything worth over $600, because I guarantee if that ballroom is charging them $10,000 and they won that ballroom, they're going to pay $10,000 for the ballroom. And it's none of my backyard crap. Look, all schools, the way that it works is, right, you've got some federal grants and you have federal money. That federal money can't really go to school dances because it has to pay for teachers, for books, etc. Likewise, the money that the students raise don't all necessarily go to the dance. They have lots of projects they have to do. And I actually did a seminar to the students saying, look, there's a lot of companies that hear schools and they automatically think ching ching. And I'm one of them. But I'm not going to take advantage of the schools. I know some companies that charge more than I do, and they get work one time because they did not deliver a product that was worth that price tag. But at the same time, if they're telling you they only have $600, they're lying to you. They're straight up lying to you. Do the math, and you'll be like, this isn't making any sense. Now, there are some schools that may say, like, for example, the one I met with, I know for the fact that they have more money than what they told me they have. But when you take into account what they're using the money for as far as other things and trying to catch up and keep their books, so they're not going broke. Okay, yeah, you're actually giving me a good number. But every time you're at a sales meeting, somebody's selling somebody. So either you're getting sold or they're getting sold. Yep. I'm not getting sold. Like, I do this for a living. I'm not going to be sold. And, I've even outright I don't want to say called out some schools, but when they say, well, we don't have a lot of money. We have this and this much. I'm like, how'd you come to that budget? I just want to real quick figure this out. You guys are selling this many number of tickets at this much. Your hotel charges this much. And I know that because I talked to all the, what are you guys spending your money on that you're not telling me? Like, okay, so where's your money going? So let's try to figure out to come up with a budget so you guys can have what you want without going broke. And then they'll be a little bit more apt. From when I first started doing this, schools did not want to tell me their budget at all, and they would make up a really low number because there was a local company that would basically just take the regular package and change a couple of things and charge that price. So suddenly that same package went $5,000 one week and $1,000 the next week,
Right.
and people ultimately caught on. So the schools were really scared to give out that information, and that's in my market. But guess what? My market talks to this other market. So this other market, again, these schools all get together several times a year and they share these things. So when I say that they're full of crap, if they're telling you their budget's only $600 or you're lying, one of the two, it's because this is what they're telling me. When I did the national conference, I was talking with a school in Arizona. It was actually Arizona. It was really cool because they actually had like Walter White shirts, but they spun it off to be about Student Government Association. I don't know how you spin meth into SBA, but it was a really cool shirt. And it was really cool because this kid's actually a DJ. Like, he's an aspiring DJ, and he follows my videos. Dude, I recognize you. I'm like, no freaking way. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of those things, that we can't take for granted, that people recognize us. But the fact that it was he's a DJ, but not like a DJ. But anyways, we were talking back and forth, and I'm like, look, what market are you in? And I'm like, look, I've heard of a few DJs that it's really bad there. So what exactly is going on? And he told me, all right, he goes, we have the money, but we spend it on other things because these dances aren't making any money because nobody wants to go to these dances because the DJs suck. And DJs don't want to hear, perhaps I'm not making a lot of sales because I suck.
Yeah.
DJs, you can't get a school to give you the money that you think you're worth. Maybe it's because the market is saying you're not worth that money. So what can you do to fix that? And a lot of DJs get offended by that. Oh, I'm excellent. My clients say I'm great. Yes, the clients that are paying you $600 when they should be paying you $2,500 are saying you're great. But if you want the $2,500 clients to say you're great, you need to change something to push away the $600 client and attract a $2,500 client. You can't sell chicken nuggets and filet mignon in the same restaurant. Just not possible unless you're serving kids.
Which you could, but Arnoldo, check the audio input on Zoom.
Yeah, I just saw that. Check 1, 2. I'm good on my end.
Well, no. Go and check and see if the auto level. So down by the microphone, there's a little arrow pointing upwards. Click that. Go to audio options.
It says AG03. Yeah, it's coming in full over here.
Is the automatic adjust microphone setting checked?
Let's see.
That's what I think we might be having. Is it hears you and I think it goes down and then it slowly comes back.
Okay, automatically join audio by computer when doing a meeting.
Right above that, there should be a line that says automatically adjust microphone setting.
No, I just have leave computer audio. And then if I go to audio options, it just doesn't give me any option like that at all.
Really? Huh.
Let me check here real quick. Oh, you know what? Hang on one second. Let's try this. Check 1, 2. Hopefully you guys can all hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. It's just, it goes up and down. So, okay.
I think I got it. It's the new version. Put it in the testing section. It's no longer in the main one.
Yes. Yep, that's it.
All right, cool.
Yay, you found it.
Letting us know.
Yay, they found it. Okay.
Actually, real quick, John, somebody asked a great question. Owen Blevins over on my channel asked what everybody's charging for the mini-thons. Guys, this has been a big sweeping thing with, especially with National Association of Student Councils. We just did Florida Association of Student Councils. And this was a big thing where, at least here they're working with UCF, which is Nighthon. And it's basically a dance marathon raising money for the Children's Miracle Networks.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, I don't charge that much for it. I charge less than $100 an hour because it's for a good cause. That's really it. If any of the schools use me for homecoming and prom, I just charge them the cost of paying my DJ, and everything else is pretty much included. Now, if they want lighting and all that, it's still really prorated. Stuff like that, yeah, it could be a good money-making opportunity. But my company's big enough point that I want to give something back to the schools. So that's one of the ways that we do it. It definitely does help because if you do stuff like text to screen, you can start collecting a lot of names and really be able to market yourself to other schools doing that. So the dance marathons, I refuse to make more than, I think the most expensive one's like $1,500 and it's a huge setup. But again, it's only because we choose to put our advertising budget towards that, to give back. Because again, Children's Miracle Network, it's good for.
Very cool.
Hold on one second. There's a lot of freaking questions in here too. Like, I don't know if you've noticed. Like,
yeah, just following along. A lot of discussion about some of the smaller schools and such that don't have the money. And I think, Arnoldo, you made a good point that it's really about where they're budgeting their money. Because I've got a small school that will have about 80 students,
Yep.
and they will charge the kids $40 a person. So 80 kids times the $40, you've got over $3,000 there for that. Plus, they've had some fundraisers that they've done over the years. So they're probably, in this case, again, it's not a big school. They're working with about a $5,000 to $7,000 budget each year. Now, from that, all they do is pay the DJ. They have to pay a little bit for the school, the janitor fee because of the extra time with that. And then they have to decorate the gym.
Absolutely.
So there are years where that gym is decorated very poorly because they're spending more money with the DJ. And there's years where the gym is incredible. It depends on the advisor.
And that's where really being a production company just helps, because then you can make money off that decor. So whether they just go DJ or decor or both, you can make money. And if they are a DJ, you can still sell them on decor. Aaron mentioned, actually, this is a really good topic, John. Aaron mentioned that he's in Utah and it's a more conservative area. Many can't attend the dances because of restrictions from parents, because.
Oh, yeah. Utah, you've got a really strong religious community out there.
Absolutely. Because, even though David danced naked before the Lord, I guess it's different, at a school dance. No, so.
Well, or maybe it's not.
I had a wedding where nobody danced for religious reasons. I'm like, listen, you're not grinding on each other. Jesus is not going to send you to hell for dancing to We Are Family. You'll be fine, my guy. If you want to take off your clothes and dance naked like David did, and they laughed about it, and they're like, all right, we'll go and do some line dances. But I'm really glad that Aaron brought that up, because actually we are making I don't want to say a boatload, but we are making a really nice market with these smaller private schools. One of the schools that I booked, they just needed just some basic lighting and photo booth, John. By the time I got done, we did lighting, pipe and drape, photo booth, and DJ. They've never had a DJ before.
Wow.
And it's not because she said, she goes, look, I'm religious, but I dance. She goes, but this is a, oh my goodness, non-denominational school. So you get some people that are really, really, really strict and some that don't. So it's really hard to balance, the parents and everything else. So this was the first school where I say, okay, well, here's everything that I recommend playing. You tell me what you want, what you don't want. We'll go from there. First time I ever let a school control a playlist, but for obvious reasons. And you know what? They had a great time. I had a great time. Honestly, it was one of my favorite homecomings. And I've got multiple schools now that are saying, okay, well, look, you can actually do these really clean dances where there's parents there. It was only an hour of dancing hours. There was dinner. There was a bunch of other activities in between. But they had an hour of dancing. The first time they ever had a DJ. It opened up a new market. But because they're smaller schools that don't necessarily have a football team, they're much easier to work with on the schedules. So I can take my not as busy season. Okay, I only got 4 homecomings or 5 homecomings on that weekend. So I can put a couple of those schools there. So Aaron, you can definitely make a market. But if you're approaching it like a traditional DJ, you're not. You got to make the market where there isn't one.
And where there isn't one, meaning looking at going to some of these schools that don't have anything, or adding production to, or both.
Whatever they don't have, make the market. Again, let's pick on the Davies brothers for a second. Not pick, but use them as an example. There was one time, John, where DJs didn't bring lighting to our events, and these guys said, "What if we had lights that moved to the music?" And people are like, preposterous poppycock. Because back then everybody was British, and
in Southern California, sure.
These dudes took a light and they took that dancing Santa that went to the music, ho ho ho, and they danced to Coca-Cola Santa danced to the music. Somehow took the energy, put it on a light, and they made the first light that reacted to music, and they created a market. Well, if they can do that to DJs who are stubborn little, then why couldn't you create a market where there isn't one? If you're hearing the school dance is here, don't do this and this. No, they don't. There hasn't been a good enough salesperson. Look, if you're a good enough salesperson, you should be able to sell anything. The most important part is to have integrity. Don't rip off a school, and don't sell something you wouldn't stand behind. Mm-hmm. I've had schools ask me, well, do you do this and this? No, because I think it's a rip, because I think it's a waste of money. I'm personally not going to offer that. I can connect you to somebody, but I'm very honest about it. And likewise, if I can find a discount to save them money, I'm going to tell you, hey, look, if you guys go with this package, I actually am using it the night prior, so I don't have to reload a van. I'll save you a couple $100. I could have just as easily said, oh, you should go with this package and pocket that extra $200, $300 or whatever. But that's not how I roll. And I believe in karma. And I believe in running a business around karma. Don't get bit in the back.
Yeah.
Or in the back, excuse me. But that being said, create a market. If you have schools telling you, lighting, lasers, what's that? Great. I'm going to be the first one to market with lasers.
Mm-hmm.
And it works. Once you get past proof, why can't I talk today? Once you get past proof of concept, you can really do some incredible things if you're a good salesperson. And if you can't get schools to pay for it and you don't suck as a DJ, step your sales game up. That's the only thing I can say, because it's not the school. I'm going to write a new book. It's called "It's Not the Schools, It's You." And DJs get their feelings hurt about that, but honestly, business is not a thing to get your feelings hurt. It's just the honest truth. People are not going to pay for a DJ that doesn't mix in this day and age. People are not going to pay for a DJ. And look, if you're getting older, that's fine. Honestly, I dread the moment I hit 40 or 50. I do, because I know I'm not going to be able to walk in with the same sales technique. But if you have a long white beard going all the way down, shave that crap, dye your hair. I know that sounds horrible, but this is an ageist business, and unfortunately the young survive a lot faster than older people will. And I'm going to be teetering on that. I mean, I'm 31 now. So I only have like maybe 9 useful years in my own personal sales strategy before I'm like, okay, time to come up with something new. What's Marcello up to? Let me just do whatever he's doing, because the guy looks like he's 20 right now. I'm just going to do that. But I mean, it sounds horrible, and I know it hurts feelings, but it's the truth.
Just checking our chat board here.
I don't want to hear anything from Adam talking about how he misses this business. I don't even think this dude is old enough to rent a U-Haul yet, and he's selling like gold mining equipment. Adam should be doing a seminar. That guy is impressive. I'm
not sure who Adam is.
Adam Parrott. I think you've seen him. You might have seen him a few times posting, but I mean, I've known this kid before he even really started pushing school dances, and he started doing some big school dances, and now somehow he's selling like excavators and all sorts of construction equipment. And I mean, he's young. I don't know how old he is right now, but yeah, it's crazy.
Somebody, Cameron mentioned, of course, the school districts have once you get over $1,000 that it has to be approved by the school board. That's actually somewhat common, especially in an area in which, i.e., a geographic region where they're used to, in this case, DJs who are all in that $400 to $500. That the schools can find a $400 to $500 DJ for their events on a regular basis. That's the policy. But once they start finding DJs and other vendors where they're having to waste too much time at a school board meeting to approve $1,000 expenditures, that'll be gone very, very quickly.
We actually, it's very common here. You have to get 3 quotes for anything over a certain price, depending on the district. And I actually talked to one of the districts. I'm like, so why do you guys do that? Well, we want to compare apples to apples. I'm like, okay, cool. But you are aware that lighting is very different from one to the other, right? Or if a DJ says they have lasers, different from one to the other, or the DJ alone. I mean, and I told this to one of the girls, and I had a good enough rapport that I could ask her this or tell her this. I'm like, so if I find somebody that says they can do bookkeeping for half the price of you, then as a taxpayer, I can vote you out, right? And she goes, wait, what? I'm like, that's pretty much what you guys are doing. So it actually got her attention. She goes, well, we really don't know what we're looking for. I'm like, you really should trust the schools on this. The only things that you guys really need to worry about is, do they have the insurance? And I told them the difference between DJ insurance and actual professional insurance, because insurance doesn't cover half the crap that we guys do. I'll tell you right now, DJs, you'd be shocked if you knew what your insurance company doesn't cover for you.
Hopefully they never have to find out the hard way.
I'm telling you, and one day they will. But, I tell them the difference between the insurance, the variances when it comes to lasers and all that. I'm like, and yes, in reality, if you see 2 companies offering the exact same thing and one's like $3,000 or $4,000 more, it's definitely worth asking for more. But you can't itemize by gear, because I have one school's like, well, we'll just ask for the gear. Okay, awesome. And I just spouted off some basic gear, and I'm like, did you understand any of that? No. Okay, so you're going to add that workload to you? I'm like, the only way to really do it is either you need to interview each DJ individually and ask them for the paperwork that you need, or you need to trust the schools to do the right decision. If they screw up, you're going to hear it in the long run. But if you find a DJ that's cutting corners, they're probably cutting corners with something that you require that's important, like workman's comp. So I mean, we've really gone on this. And the other tip that I've told, other DJs, like, just make your itemized list as detailed as possible. Don't worry about listing gear, but really bring down everything. You help, advertise. Okay, great. You're going to help with advertising. You write that in there, every little thing. Even if, it's included with the package, doesn't matter. You write it down. the better looking your proposal is, the better chance you'll have of flying through that approval process. I know we're one of the more expensive companies in my area. And you know what? I don't have counties shutting down our proposals because our proposals are very well outlined and they know what they're getting with us. And once you're at the level that, Four Schools only has been blessed to be in, the counties know who we are and they know what to expect when they work with us. And they know that if they ask us for forms, if we have a dedicated CFO, then you immediately send whatever forms they need. There's no lollygagging with our business. We try to be faster than the districts. We are. We're faster than the districts are because it's the government. They move slow. But we're faster than they are, and we stay one step ahead. So that saves them a lot of time because they've got a lot more to worry about than which DJ company should they hire.
Arnoldo, Aaron made an interesting point here, and I want to talk about this. He made the statement, I wish I could rebrand to a different, basically move to a different market. And granted, there are going to be some areas in which if you're in a very rural area and you go to a more urban area, there's going to be more opportunity, but you also have more competition in those areas. I don't think that money and location really completely go together. And there's a level of that, but I'm sure there's schools in your market that have 500 plus kids coming to the dance, and they're telling that we can't pay over $400 for a DJ.
It's because that's what everybody else has been spending, or because they haven't seen anybody worth over $400. That's the crazy thing about Florida, because in Florida, I can be in a really high class area where people are spending $100,000 just for, basic like 1-bedroom house. And they're spending $250,000 if they even want just a basic, 1-family unit, to an area where you can get a really nice house for less than $100,000. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy how Florida works out. But because of that, I've seen both sides of the market. And I can tell you right now that I have the smaller schools. Those smaller schools come to us. Are they spending as much money as our bigger schools? No, but it's all about finding that equilibrium price range. I may have a $10,000 school, but it requires 5 people to set up. And my $2,500 school only requires 2 people to set up in a much smaller truck and a third of the capital. What's making me more money in the long run? Yeah. Not necessarily how much you're charging, but how much you're spending for everything that you send out. And you got to keep track of that.
Oh, for sure.
And we'll have to go over the tire thing too, but you got to take account for everything that can go wrong in your business, not just how much money you're spending on people and capital in general.
So let's segue, because we're getting our time down there. Emergency things happen. Let's put it that way. Things happen.
I am so lazy when it comes to preparation. Okay, so we did the FASC, the Florida Association of Student Councils, and I told my wife, okay, we need we checked our oil, we should make sure everything was good. I'm like, I should bring a jack just in case. I'm like, it'll be fine. What are the chances the tires are going to blow out? They're brand new tires, except for the trailer. The trailer had older tires, but it doesn't get driven around often. It's never sat on dirt. It shouldn't have dry rot. What I did not know is that A, how old the tires were, because nobody told me, and B, that dry rot sets in after a month in Florida. I'm like, son of a gun. So we completely we're driving all of a sudden. And no, it wasn't even that, John.
Oh, you didn't.
It blew. I mean, it ripped off the whole fender, lights, the side. I mean,
I saw the pictures.
It was bad. And the trailer just, like Michael J. Fox itself around. That's so horrible.
Wow. Now we just offended. Gosh, I haven't even been counting how many groups we were offending tonight.
Guys, if you're offended, please write me at understand.
Yeah.
No, so anyways, I mean, that whole thing was gone. So, we called the company, a roadside assistance company, not forgetting that I was in Live Oak, Florida. Live Oak is basically it's where every Walmart is a Tractor Supply. Like you pull in here. But anyway, so yeah, we're there. It's like a population of 32, which makes a full set of teeth there. But anyway, so we have somebody come in. They change the tire out, and I'm like, "Do you have a second tire by any chance for the other side, just in case?" No, we don't have any more. I'm like, "Am I okay on that tire? Does it look like it's dry rot?" No, you should be fine. Okay, I should have gotten that tire changed. Now the funny part is, I blew a tire exactly 2 years ago in the same freaking spot. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Same spot 2 years ago, I blew a tire on my van. So tire on the trailer blows out. On the way back, everything's okay. Not even, I think, within a 50-mile radius. Wham! I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, this isn't even funny right now. So we changed the tire out, and that's when we realized that we were at Live Oak. I'm like, screw it, I'm just gonna go pick up. They actually had the trailer tires already in the rim, ready to go. We bought the jack and everything else, and we just changed out the tire. But it's funny because then there's all the Captain Obvious DJs, like, well, you should have put a spare tire. Dude, I have a spare tire. How the hell am I going to put a spare tire in a trailer? It's just going to blow right out. A spare tire in a trailer isn't when the trailer is fully loaded. So that's not going to help. And even if I did, I wouldn't have enough room for a jack because you can't just put one jack underneath. You got to have two or that trailer is going to tilt over. I don't know how it is in your area, John, but the highways here were built by meth heads. So a normal highway is like this. Florida's highways are like this right here. Right. So you got like 3 different pieces of concrete. So when the tire was pulled over, the shoulder on the side of the highway was the shoulder. So the whole trailer was like this. So if I jack the trailer too much, you already know what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it wasn't like you could just easily change it. So we had to go back and forth and we were able to get it. But AAA sucks. Oh, we don't do trailers. We don't do what the hell do you guys do exactly? That being said, DJs. This is my piece of advice today, and I promise you that when this happens to you, you'll be like, man, I should have listened to Arnoldo and John. If you have a single axle trailer, get rid of it. Just get rid of it because a tandem axle trailer would have stopped that crap. At least I could have been able to drive somewhere, get the tire changed out.
Yep.
If you have a single axle trailer and your livelihood depends on that trailer, sell it right now. That trailer looks like the end of Are We Done There? Or are we there yet? Excuse me. Remember when Ice Cube's SUV was just completely trashed? That's exactly what that trailer looks like.
Oh, it looks horrible. Yeah. The sides are looks like 10 miles of bad road there for surely.
Yeah, that trailer is a bigger disaster than a Florida voting box. So it's pretty bad.
So that's one aspect with the trailer. Now the second aspect, and this is what I've had happen, is that trailers, the ball hitch on a trailer has some adjustment in it, and over time, as you use them and they get yanked around and such, the coupler sometimes will actually relax a little bit. I don't know, Arnoldo, if you've ever played with it, but you can actually go take a socket and there's a lock nut on the bottom of most of the hitches, so that when it's closed and latched, you should be able to basically get a little bit of movement, but you shouldn't be able to get too much movement out of that ball hitch. So what you end up having to do after a period of time, one of the maintenance things is to go down there and take a ratchet. You got to use a bigger one because this is a lock nut under there, but you have to snug that up just to give it a little bit of a turn to tighten up. Well, I found out the hard way.
Oh no!
Yeah. So I'm headed down the road and we're late for setting up the day before prom. And hit a bump on the road because in Minnesota every half mile there's a huge bump at this time of the year or the next month. Hit the bump, trailer bounces, and then it pops off the hitch on the truck. Of course, it has chains, so it's like, well, oh my gosh! As I'm watching the trailer, wang, back, boom, and then it hits into the back of the truck. And I think at the time the truck was maybe about 2 or 3 years old, with the big pretty truck. And it cranks into the truck, and it's like crap. So you apply the brake, and you slowly pull over with it up against the truck. So at least I knew it was, kind of containing the trailer a little bit. And sure enough, it's got some scars on the back end of the truck, and the trailer had caught the hitch in right above where the trailer hitch was. It pierced the side of that and such. But yeah, the trailer, they will come off. So that's an area you guys need to check, is that hitch also. And if you're not comfortable with it, take it to most any shop. Will be able to go in there and they'll look at it and they'll tighten it, or if it needs a tightening. And if it doesn't have one, it can be tightened. And it's a single axle trailer, get rid of it.
I had a beauty pageant where somebody stole the freaking pin for the hitch.
Oh, yep.
I'm pulling it out and the whole trailer goes boom. I'm like, what the hell was that? I'm like, oh, there's no pin. The whole ball, everything comes out. I'm like, freaking Florida.
So when you are at a show, is there any gear left in your trailer?
Sometimes.
Okay, so I try to have it every time where it's completely empty when I had that, because we were having a rash of people in the area and again, we're small town Minnesota out in our area. People were breaking into DJ trailers at gigs looking for any gear. So we're in there doing weddings and such, and they're out there. So I ended up getting to the point with my trailers that instead of having a lock on the actual back end of the trailer, it was just a little clip. So people could come in there, clip, open it up. Oh, there's nothing in there.
Yeah, we have the lock, and then we also have the trailer hitch and everything else. And while you can't do this at a school, there's a really easy way to prevent people from stealing your stuff, if you get my drift. I'm gonna tell you right now. No, no, no,
Is
no.
that wait? Oh, combination lock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what you meant. Yeah, like, chick,
Uh-huh,
chick.
uh-huh. And that there get her down with one, no 9 millimeter gauge. Get that 4 to 5. I sell propane accessories. Shop.
Keith mentions putting new tires on a single axle trailer about every 2 years. That's probably the best way to do it. The second area I would do is like we do on our camper. When we pull it anywhere, we have covers on it. As soon as it's into a location, we're covering those tires just to keep them from sun damage or what have you. But you eventually will have dry rot. Our last set of trailer tires on our camper, the sidewalls look beautiful, lots of tread, but if you look in the treads, you saw little cracks. And I wouldn't be surprised, Arnoldo, if that's exactly what you had on yours, and that's what where it went. And
Well, I'll be honest with you, I overloaded this trailer at least by 500 pounds, and I was going 75 miles an hour the first time.
really, you drive fast?
And that could have been it. Well, 75 hours, guys. 75 miles doesn't sound really fast on a trailer. That's way too much.
Way too much, unless you got a really, really kick butt trailer.
Honestly, what you describe as far as people stealing gear, that's why you don't label a car. I don't get it. I don't know why people label their cars. Nothing says break into me like putting your freaking company name on a trailer. I try to find the most podunk ass looking vans. Matter of fact, if I can get a van that says free candy, I know nobody's going to touch that thing. I don't care. Nobody's going to come up like, prom was great. The DJ was amazing. The lights were on point, but that van though, like, they didn't have Starburst, and my butt hurts. No, like nobody cares what the hell's in your van. Just don't put a freaking label on it. Plus, I don't know if you know this, John, but I have really bad road rage, and I know we got to talk about mobile beat soon, but I have really bad road rage, and not like undeserved road rage, but you cut me off, I'm gonna try to run you off the side of the road, and well, that's.
I can attest to that. I rode with you, although you were not driving, but you still managed to have the road rage, and you still were trying to figure out a way to get the car to cut them off.
So no, the thing is, I don't want to have road rage. Run somebody off the road, tell them to go F their mother, and then on the side, hire us for your school day. It's like, wait a second, because I can tell you, whenever somebody runs me off, the first thing I do is, how's my driving? Oh, I'm going to tell you how's their driving right now.
You just pull this on all. Yeah. So, True North, no. No, there's very few. I'm one of the actually few that have advertising on their trailer, or I did.
Well, that's why people are breaking into your stuff, John.
No, my trailers never were bothered, but others were. So I was fortunate with that stuff. But I don't leave anything in there. So let's talk. We got a couple minutes to talk Mobile Beat, and I got to jump here.
Mobile Beat, it's exciting. Are you going?
I won't be there. I won't be there this year. I'm going to be coming down the week after for the Photo Booth Expo.
I might be there. So I have a seminar. I don't know if you know about this.
Really? You speak?
Super exciting. Yeah, I do actually. I talk, and there may be a rant in there, so that's fine. Actually, real quick, before we do that, Owen brought up the alarm. Just a quick thing, guys. If you do not have an alarm in your vehicle, your insurance will not cover you, and that's including your trailer. So yes, you need to have an alarm in your car and your vehicle, or your insurance won't cover it.
And you've got to have the proper alarm depending upon your insurance company. If you're using one that was connected with the national associations, it's got to be the approved alarm system, or it will not be covered.
Yep, I have my uncle in there with a.
Oh, the combination lock.
Yeah. So anyhow, yeah. So I'm gonna be doing a what's it called, seminar, and it is sponsored by ADJ, but it doesn't mean that it's a product demo. I hate those kind of seminars. This is not a timeshare thing. John, I don't know about you, but I'm so tired of seminars that are just a bunch of frou-frou that actually don't show you how to make money. I'm so tired of the seminars like, well, you should make more money. You should charge more. How? I'm not going to tell you. Like, F you, guy. Like,
you should be able to just feel your way through it, man.
Look, again, I love Mark. He's a good guy. But you can't just say, I'm a $1,500 DJ and charge $1,500 if you suck. So this seminar is really going to talk about where's lighting taking us. John, I mean, you've seen it. You've done coverage for so many shows. Lighting has changed so much more in the last 5 years than ever.
Yeah.
Just the insane amount of jump that we have gotten on lights. So it's going to talk about lights, video, how to stay ahead of your competition. If your competition's ahead of you, how to sell around them so you can still get your fair piece of the pie, because that's really what's made for schools only as successful we have. There's bigger companies out there than us, way bigger. There's guys with way bigger systems, way better lighting, but we know how to sell what we have and how to stay ahead of our competition and offer even some technologies that they don't have to just really stay ahead. So I'm excited about that. Also, I'm excited about Paul Oakenfold. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, that should be fun. It should be a good show. It always a good time to get together with friends and such in Vegas. So I'll definitely be missing it this year, but that's unfortunately how things came together. So
it is what it is.
It is. Gang, we got to wrap things up. We are just about up to our next show here, and I need a little bit of time to switch things over. Arnoldo, thank you very much, my friend. I enjoyed our time together.
Same here. And guys, remember, masterskooldances.com. All your school dance questions, Natalie answer it.
Those links are all down in the description below the video here on YouTube. I've got, actually, Arnoldo's got a new website you guys got to check out. Geared First is out there. All the links are down below. Go check those out. He's been working on some new projects, and there's some really cool stuff out there. So check it out. I'll be back in about 9 minutes with the crew tonight, and we're going to be doing kind of an open mic night tonight. So we'll see you in just a few.
So I can ask you.